Happy Wednesday. It's Jo of SportsGrid, and it's time for Puck It with Jo. We've got 14 games to go over. I hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. Happy belated Merry Christmas to you guys who celebrate it. It was a fantastic time over this way. And I know it was a fantastic time for the Vancouver Canucks as well. Did you guys realize they're the first Canadian team to be at the top of the league since 2005? When the Ottawa Senators were going into that Christmas break. They have a record of 23-9-3 on the season. So they definitely would have been celebrating a Christmas. They'll be getting back out on the ice tomorrow. But we do have, like I said, lots of action today, 14 games out there. And hockey is back. I want to thank you guys for joining me back here. I know lots of you taking time off during the break, and let me know what you've been up to with your time off and what you did for your holidays. Excited to hear about everyone's holiday season. Okay, let's jump in to the first game here. We're going to look at the 7 o'clock Eastern matchup, the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the New Jersey Devils. Now the Devils at home in this one, and they're a large favorite. Current odds and all odds are over at FanDuel. What we're looking at right now, as I just pull them up, the New Jersey Devils minus 260 on that money line, plus 210 for the Columbus Blue Jackets, total 6.5. Now the 6.5 is juiced to that over at minus 158. You guys know we can't touch that, but I do expect this game to go over that total. You would have to fire up that line, but how high do we actually go in this one? If you're looking at the puck line there, the New Jersey Devils to cover that puck line, laying 1.5 is minus 113, and plus 1.5 for the Columbus Blue Jackets coming in at minus 106. I do lean on the Columbus Blue Jackets plus 1.5. I do think they can keep it tight here with the New Jersey Devils. We look at the New Jersey Devils, and they failed to cover that puck line at home in their last 7. I do think this is an opportunity for us to look at that first period. You guys know I love the first periods over 1.5, but again, the juice is so high at minus 166. Both teams to score is a really solid way to go with this. When we look at both of these defenses, both defenses have been allowing these goals to come in, with the New Jersey Devils allowing 3.56 goals per game and the Columbus Blue Jackets at 3.63. Now, the goaltending matchup looks like Elvis and Vanacek here. So I do think both of these goalies will allow the other team to score in that first period. So when I'm looking at that as well, I've got to look at that goal in the first 5 minutes. I think we will see a nice quick goal out of both of these teams. The yes for the goal in the first 5 minutes coming in at plus 146. You guys know I love searching for that plus money, and there is a plus money there in that one. Now, when we look at how these teams went into that Christmas break, we saw the Columbus Blue Jackets lose those last 2 going into the to the Christmas break, and we did see the Devils win that last game versus Detroit 3-2. So I do think this is both of these teams will be coming out nice and strong. There's no real look ahead here for either team where I'm concerned about their matchup tomorrow or the next day. I would look at points in this one because, like I said, I do believe this is going to be a higher scoring one. Johnny Gaudreau of the Columbus Blue Jackets really has been starting to turn things around, so I would look at his points tonight. And when we're looking at the New Jersey Devils, you know we got to look at Jack Hughes, but don't neglect looking at his brother Luke Hughes tonight. I do like what we've seen out of Luke Hughes, and while we haven't seen the goals per se coming in for him as of late, those points still have been getting on the board, and I do expect those points to come today. So look at Luke Hughes here, Jack Hughes, Johnny Gaudreau. This is going to be a high scoring one, so a great one for some player props. You going through hockey withdrawals. I hear you. It was kind of weird the last couple of days without hockey. 3 days, no hockey. And we're back. And we're going to make some money today. I can feel it. Okay. Let's look at the next game here. We have the Washington Capitals. Now, the Washington Capitals taking on the New York Rangers. All odds over at FanDuel. We have plus 176 right now for the Washington Capitals, which looks like such a nice price, especially with what they're able to do last time versus New York Rangers. Remember, they got the shutout not long ago, 4-0. Now the New York Rangers are minus 215, so $2 favorite here. And 5.5, the 5.5 at minus 120 to the over, minus 102 to the under. And looking at the current form of both of these teams, I wouldn't be shocked if this one stayed under the 5.5. At minus 102. we're getting great value there as well. I expect that first period to be slow in this one, but I do think the New York Rangers could get off to the fast start and score a goal quick on Darcy Kuemper, and then everything really locked down defensively. You can look at the New York Rangers in the first period on that puck line at -0.5 a goal at +134. There's a value for the New York Rangers. Now, I don't trust it for the full game on the puck line because we look at this team, and I do think the Washington Capitals, with how they've been playing as of late, should be able to cover the puck line in today's game. They're sitting 7-8 on the road on that puck line, but the New York Rangers at home sitting at 5-10 on that puck line. Well, I do think that they could get the win. I just don't like them to cover that full puck line, especially with just December 9th, the Washington Capitals won that matchup 4-0. So the Rangers have been putting up the goals as of late. So it's a little concerning with this total of 5.5. What I might do is if the Rangers score a goal quick and then we see a 6 pop up or a 6.5, then I'll take it to the under, because I do expect after that first goal comes in for a lower scoring game here and for that to stay under the total. For the last 6 meetings between these two teams has stayed under that total as well. I just think the Rangers will come out for blood right to start this game, and we'll see that nice quick goal out of them. Next game here, we have the Florida Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, odds on this one on FanDuel with the Florida Panthers up -125, +104 for the Tampa Bay Lightning, total 6.5. Now, that 6.5 -112 to the over, -108 to the under. I do like the Tampa Bay Lightning better on their home ice. I just don't know if they can get the win over the Florida Panthers here. I love what we've seen out of this team defensively and goaltending-wise as of late. This team has been playing more solid, more disciplined out there on the ice, and I do think if they can stay out of that penalty box, and that's a huge if for this team, that they can win this game versus Tampa. I don't love where the line has gone. They were -112 to -115 earlier today, now up to -125, but I do think the Florida Panthers are the right side in this one. Bobrovsky in net for them, and Andre Vasilevsky there for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning, while they're power play is so strong, and that's why Florida has to stay out of the box, because this power play converting second best overall in the league at 30.4%. I do think this team, it's just their defense that worries me. And we look at the Florida Panthers and how strong this defense has been. Like I said, this team is only allowing 2.61 goals per game and 27.1 shots on goal, third best overall in the league. That kill is phenomenal at 82.9%. So while if they get on that penalty, it's not an automatic for the Lightning to score, they're going to have to work, and they're going to have to work hard. So Florida, to stay out of the box, they can get the win. I just don't like where that money line has gone. I liked it so much better at -115 earlier today. If the Florida Panthers are able to get this win, they really need to lock down the Tampa Bay Lightning, their offense, because that offense is incredible. So I'm looking at this one because I do think Florida can get the win for this to stay under that total. So I'm going to take the under 6.5 in this matchup. The Capitals +1.5. Yeah, I do think that is a tight game with the New York Rangers. I like the exact score, 3-2 or the draw. I think that is a nice way to go. Lightning money line against the public. Oh, public, yeah. Public is pretty much on the Florida Panthers as well, especially where you're seeing that line movement. I just don't know. I don't know if I trust the Lightning enough against this defense. So I think my best bet in that game is the under 6.5. Let's look at the next one here. We have the Ottawa Senators taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Sens at +130, -156 for the Maple Leafs, total 6.5. The 6.5 juice to the over at -158. You've got to fire up that one if you want to bet it to the over, because who wants to lay -158? Or we could look at a couple other things in this one. I do think this is another nice opportunity to get that goal in the first 5 minutes. The goal in the first 5 minutes as a yes, coming in at +148. This is going to be a high-paced, fast rivalry game between these two teams. So I do expect a nice, quick goal, and I don't care who gets it in this one. Could I see it being Toronto? Absolutely, because the Ottawa Senators seem to not be able to keep a thing out of the back of their net. But also, we look at Toronto here. And the Leafs with Martin Jones, I still don't have the confidence in him to be able to stop everything out there. I think the Ottawa Senators, we saw that overtime win versus the Pens before the break. Now, we know that coaching change happened on the road. So that was their first home game, their last game before this Christmas break, and they were able to get it done. I'm leaning here on the Ottawa Senators to be able to pull off the win. So current lines on this one, plus 130 on the Ottawa Senators. And I think they have every opportunity here of being able to get it done. They covered the puck line in the last two versus the Leafs this season. So the last game out, we did see the Toronto Maple Leafs win it in a 4-3 game. I do think it's going to be the same sort of style, tight game here. So the value on the dog really is there. Now, they've lost their last 4 as a dog, but they're sitting 6-1 on the puck line in their last 7 games in Toronto. So this is going to be a tight battle. Their puck line value isn't there though. Plus 1.5 at -166. It could be part of a parlay piece, but I don't love taking full game puck lines within a parlay because you get that empty netter and it just ruins everything when they've been so close for the full game. So I like that first goal in the first 5 minutes here. Both teams to score in the first period. Again, because the over 1.5 is too juice, both teams to score at plus 142. I really do think this could be a nice fast start for both of these teams. Now, if we're looking at some player props, because you guys know when I like those overs, I'm definitely going to hit those player props. We're going to look at Brady Tkachuk here to come out strong tonight. For 2+ points, he's coming in at plus 240. I do think it's a nice way to take him. If you just want to take him for the anytime goal at plus 160, I like that as well. I do lean on him getting 2 points in this one. So at plus 240, I like the value we're getting there. I'm going to look at Mitch Marner for 2+ points. He's coming in at plus 176. And then Austin Matthews for the anytime goal at -120. Those both for the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you're looking for someone else for the Ottawa Senators, Josh Norris has been playing really solid, but his points, you got to take him to 2+ points, and it is good value there at 1+. It's so highly juiced, and that anytime goal is just not enough value for Josh Norris for me. So I'm going to stay off that. But both of these teams trending so nicely to that over. Total 7.5. We could get there, you guys. This could be 4-4 going into overtime as these two teams battle it out. Let me know what you're liking. I am liking the dogs. I think they are absolutely barking today. You love that over. Shout out to you, Taylor. Senators money line or over 7. I'm completely with you. I think both of those have the opportunities to hit. The Preds and the Coyotes, Thomas, we'll get to the Preds and the Coyotes in just a second there. I'm not ruling either out, and I absolutely love the Coyotes, to be honest with you here. Nice wine glass for Christmas, Joe. Very thoughtful. Wine glass? Okay, let's look at the next one here. Yeah, we can't forget Tavares as well. Tavares has been phenomenal. Big shout out to you too, Kelly. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Now let's look at the Boston Bruins here taking on the Buffalo Sabres. Current odds, the Boston Bruins -154 plus 128 for the Buffalo Sabres at home. You guys know I love a home dog, but you look at the Boston Bruins and how they rolled in to the Christmas break. You guys, we faded them on that last game and it cashed. Boston was unable to win that. So now they've lost 3 or 4 in a row. They're coming in here, the total 6.5. These teams actually trend to the over when they play each other at -124. Swayman confirmed here for the Boston Bruins and Levi confirmed for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, I would love to step in front of the Boston Bruins again, but I'm not tempting fate. It was 4 before the break. This team absolutely knows they have to get their things together because otherwise this is disastrous for the Bruins. I do think they can win this, and I think it's in regulation. I'm taking the Boston Bruins in regulation to get the win. That coming in at plus 100. They have won 8 of the last 10 versus the Sabres as well. So I do think they come in with that confidence after losing their last 4 before the break. Kind of regrouped a little bit here and ready to get back on the winning track. They've won their last 5 matchups in Buffalo as well. But the thing is, they failed to cover that puck line in their last 5 overall. And yes, in most of those cases, they were the favorite in those games, and we were still not able to get the win in the 4 of them. So Boston has been showing those struggles, but they are 9-8 on the road on that puck line. You don't need to take the puck line tonight. I would just take the regulation, but I could see them covering that puck line as well. Shout out to you, Chatterbox. The Blackhawks and the Jets over 1.5 in the first period. I do like that game. Not sure if I'm going to get there with the over 1.5 in the first period, because we look at the Jets and their ability to lock down defensively, but we'll get to that game in just 1 second. First, we're going to look at the Pittsburgh Penguins and the New York Islanders. Now, the Pittsburgh Penguins expected to start, or confirmed to start, Tristan Jarry here, and the New York Islanders starting Sorokin. So current odds on this one, -106 for the Pens, -113 for the Islanders, total 6.5, +104 to the over, -128 to the under. One thing I have to caution you guys is the Islanders, they get up big in these games and they lose those leads. So live betting the Pittsburgh Penguins, if the Islanders go up quick by 1 or 2 goals in that first period, and grabbing the Pens plus the 2.5 on the puck line is something I'm watching and waiting to do tonight, because it's been absolute money taking that team down versus the Islanders. Not to just come back and win. I like that puck line and the value. The puck line and the value that we're getting, plus the 1.5, plus the 2.5, especially in tight battles like this, has been money. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. But in this one here, I'd be looking at Sorokin's save shots on goal. We look here at the Pittsburgh Penguins. This team can fire and fire at will, 32.9 shots on goal per game. And we know the Islanders' biggest problem right now is they're allowing Sorokin to get absolutely peppered out there. They're allowing an average of 35.7 shots on goal per game. So the battle of the Metro here, I'm expecting defenses to lock down a little bit more, but I do think the Islanders in this game, their defense still is going to have a hard time stopping the Pens in this one. I do think the Islanders get up quick, though. Like I said, this team gets up quick and then they blow leads. So the New York Islanders in the first period, laying the half a goal on that puck line. Current odds on that. Let me just pull up those odds there. It should be good plus money, you guys. That first period puck line for the Islanders coming in, laying a half a goal at plus 180, and it's so much value. I do think they're going to get off to a nice hot start, find the back of Tristan Jarry's goal, and then for these teams to lock down a little bit more defensively. I do expect this one, though, to go over that total 6.5. I just can't see it staying under, with how the Islanders have allowed these goals to come in, unless Sorokin absolutely stands on his head. Now his save percentage is 9.14. We look at Tristan Jarry, 9.13 save percentage. So solid goalies here, but these two teams have had the last 3 days of break. We see travel between these teams, like just coming back, even the Islanders from family vacation and that kind of thing. So I do expect a little bit less defense in this one. And this one, I lean to that over. Let's talk about the Detroit Red Wings and the Minnesota Wild. Now the Red Wings, plus 118 on the road. The Wild at -142, total 6.5. We got a -115 to the under, 6.5, and -105 to the over. I can't take this one to the under. You're looking at both these teams, and both teams have been struggling to keep that puck out of the back of their net. James Reimer expected here for Detroit, and the Minnesota Wild, Gustafsson, is confirmed. Now, the defenses of both these teams are allowing those shots on goal to come in, 30.3 for the Minnesota Wild and 32.2 for the Detroit Red Wings. You're looking at not great power plays here for either team, with the Wild coming in right around that 18% conversion rate and 21.6 conversion rate for the Red Wings. And both of these teams just able offensively to find the back of teams' net. You look at the Red Wings here, you've got Dylan Larcher, Patrick Kane, Alex DeBrincat, all three of these players so phenomenally strong out there. Kiprusoff, Erickson, and Matt Bradley here, Boldy here for the Minnesota Wild, all have been so effective out there on the ice as well. I do expect this to be a higher scoring one. I would take the over in this game. Now, one thing I am looking at, though, is the Minnesota Wild in the first period on the money line, this team has won their last 6 first periods as a favorite, and I do expect them to come out on their home ice. They won their last 3 going into the break, so a little bit of concern sometimes for me for teams for the whole game when we look at them coming out of that Christmas break on a winning streak versus teams going into that break on a losing streak. I think you see the more disciplined team, the team that went into a game on a losing streak. But we just saw the one loss for the Red Wings in that last game. They lost to the Devils 3-2 on the road. So I expect in this one, because you had the Devils travel and then we saw travel home or elsewhere for the holidays and then travel again, that Minnesota, I do lean to getting the win, but I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit was able to get it done. So it's Minnesota in the first period here on the money line, -138. You can take them on the puck line too. Laying the half a goal, you're going to get great plus money, but I do think this one goes over that total. Isles play well against the Pens. Yeah, the Isles absolutely do play well against the Pens, Joe, in that one. You're not playing the Bruins and the Sabres. I don't blame you. It seems kind of, to look at the Sabre or to look at the Bruins and to fade them after losing 4 games, it's a terrible situation. And that's why I got to go on the Bruins coming out of the break to be firing and firing away. But it is a hard one for sure. Yeah. Oh, the wine glass. Yeah. Connor gave me a wine glass for Christmas. Sorry. I was like, did I post something on that wine glass, on a different wine glass? But yeah, my son gave me a wine glass after my daughter gave me a tile that made me cry. So it was pretty cute. I like the Jets to go under and the Kings on the puck line. Okay. The Jets under, Kings puck line. I'm worried about the Kings. They do have a look ahead situation. So we'll get to that one in just a second. The Pittsburgh Penguins, you know what? I really want to take the Pens on the money line. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to get there, but I don't blame you for doing so. Let's look at the next matchup here. With the Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Nashville Predators. This is another hard game today to see which version of both of these teams we're going to get. We have the Carolina Hurricanes rolling in at -140. I don't love the value on them here on the road. +116 for the Predators, total 5.5. Now this 5.5 juice to the over at -138 to the over. I think the Predators, they were only +114 earlier in the day. We're getting them +116. It's not that much of a move, but I do think the Predators are the better team, and I took them at +114. Saros expected here and Kucherov expected for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Canes are just not doing it for me. They lost those last 2 before the break. They lost the last one to the Islanders 5-4 at home. And this team has shown their struggles. And this is the first night of a back-to-back. They have Montreal back on deck at home tomorrow. And with those losses coming, especially that last one at home versus the Islanders, I think this might be a spot where they get out on the road and they're already looking ahead, even though it's not a hard opponent tomorrow with Montreal. I think they're already looking ahead to that Montreal game coming off that break, coming off Christmas. I think it's just a hard spot. So I don't like Carolina. If this was more like -110 for Carolina, maybe I'd take a shot on them. But with the Predators, with the value we're getting, I think all the value is on them. They have won their last 3 meetings versus the Carolina Hurricanes as well. And they're off that loss at home versus the Stars going into that break. I think this team, especially with being able to beat them that last time in overtime back on December 15th, 6-5, has the ability to come out nice and strong in this one and replicate the same thing. Now, the Predators are 4-1 in the last 5 games on that puck line. They've been keeping these games tight. No value here on the puck line for the Nashville Predators in this game tonight. I just like what we've seen out of Ryan O'Reilly and Philip Forsberg. I look at both of those players to be able to come out strong. And then Carolina, if you think that they're going to win big, it's hard to take them even on that puck line because they failed to cover that puck line the last 7 games in Nashville. So I do think this is going to be a tight battle. This is a coin flip game. And as soon as I'm looking at a coin flip game and I've got a home underdog, that's where my money is going to go, you guys. Okay, we are seeing under move for Nashville. Don't bet Nashville puck line. Yeah, you can't bet Nashville on the puck line. Okay, love the under 6, Winnipeg in regulation. Okay, well, I like that one as well. Winnipeg in regulation looks like a solid way to go. Let's look at the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars are taking on the St. Louis Blues today. Current odds on this one. Let me just find it, you guys. Minus 170 here for the Dallas Stars. We have the St. Louis Blues at plus 140. Total of 6.5. Now, minus 122 to the over, 6.5 plus 100 to the under. Okay, right away, it's again, I got to roll with St. Louis. We know ever since that coaching change, this team has been playing such better hockey. They're sitting 10-5 at home on the season. We look at them, they won those last 2 games going into the break. The last game versus Chicago, 7-5. They're able lately to find the back of the net. Their goals, on average, has jumped up to a solid 3. So they were teetering, 2.81, 2.79 for a while, but they're actually averaging 3 goals per game. They're still allowing that 3.33. Now, when we look at the Dallas Stars here, Scott Wedgwood expected tonight in net, 3.08 goals against average. This team is allowing those goals to come in like we haven't seen in previous years. This team was so solid at really locking opponents down and not allowing those shots on goal to come in. But their shots on goal allowed is sitting at 30.7. Their kill is phenomenal at 86.4. But when we look here at the power play of the St. Louis Blues, they're going to be able to stop the power play because the St. Louis Blues power play is basically non-existent at 11.6%. So Dallas, if they don't get in that penalty box, they're going to be okay either way. The St. Louis Blues really need to stay out of the box, though, because they are only killing 78.2% of those opponents' power plays. And wow, the Stars are converting at 22.1%. So I look at this as kind of a weird situation for the Dallas Stars. Looking at the scheduling, 2 games on deck for the Stars versus the Chicago Blackhawks. They play the Blackhawks on Friday, and that's on the road, and then Sunday at home. So kind of weird scheduling. They failed to cover the puck line in their last 5 games overall as well. So I just think there's something about this St. Louis team right now that I do like. I think they come out and I think they win that first period. I'm going to take the St. Louis Blues on the money line in the first period. I'm going to take the money line for the full game. I just can't get past the value here on them. And I do think this one, because I think St. Louis gets a win, I think we're going to see more defense out of this team. I'm taking the under 6.5. The under 6.5 coming in at plus 100. The St. Louis Blues at plus 140 and the first period money line for the St. Louis Blues. And hold my breath because the St. Louis Blues are not my favorite team to back, you guys. You're leaning on the Blues on the money line as well. Absolutely love it. Love the Dallas Stars over first, juicy. And you're getting minus 140 over in the first. Yeah, you know what? I could see that first period being higher scoring and then the rest of the game being lower. So I don't hate that at all. I think when goalies first come out, especially after the break, we see that little bit of rust as well. So seeing those goals coming in quick and then things locking down, I don't hate that at all. Let's look at the next game here. We have the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now, I know one of you asked about this game. Coyotes, definitely a team that I have circled today. I'm just trying to find odds on FanDuel. So many games. Okay, plus 142 for the home dog in the Coyotes, minus 176 for the Colorado Avalanche. Total 6.5. Now 6.5 juice to the under actually at minus 115, minus 104 to the over. I lean for this one to go over the total because I do think Arizona can score. I love what we've seen out of this team at home. You guys know it's Logan Cooley and Clayton Keller have been absolutely money makers for us out there on the ice. We keep riding them. But you look at Colorado, such strong players on this team as well. I do think both teams will have success finding the back of each other's nets. Georgiev expected here for the Colorado Avalanche, and for Arizona, the Coyotes here, Connor Ingram is expected. Both of these goalies have pretty good numbers. It's actually interesting to see Connor Ingram having a stronger save percentage here at 0.916 versus Georgiev, whose number is 0.898. When we look at these two teams, it's also surprising to really see that the power play here of the Coyotes is so strong, and their kill is strong as well. The Coyotes power play, 23.2%. The Avs only 23.6, so just a tiny bit stronger. The kill of the Avs at 83.3 and the kill of the Coyotes at 80.2. So this game, I really truly believe it's going to come down to who makes less mistakes. I think Coyotes at home tonight, they're strong at home, sitting 11-5 on the season with the value we're getting. I cannot say no. You also look at the Colorado Avalanche. They haven't been phenomenal on the road. They're sitting 7-3 on the road this season. Sorry, 7-2 on the road this season. And I do think this might be a little bit of a hard game. And when we look at how these teams have played versus each other, yes, the Avs won that last matchup. It was 4-1. That was a really bad game out of Arizona, but we look at the one prior, and it was this season as well. They won it in overtime, 4-3 in OT. So I do think the Coyotes can get the win, and with that value, I can't say no. So I like it. I like the over as well. I do think this is going to be another 4-3 game, you guys. So it's going to be a good one. Yeah, I think Arizona absolutely can sneak one out. So this should be a good game, you guys. You could take Arizona. I see that comment. +1.5. Absolutely. The problem with the +1.5, +1.5 -164, it's just a little bit too juicy for me. I just don't like going that high. I like going as high as -144, but if you don't mind laying that, I just worry about those empty netters, and that's the problem with the puck line. So when I'm not getting as much value, I do get worried with that. Okay, now I know you guys have talked about the Winnipeg Jets here. The Winnipeg Jets are over a $2 favorite. I hate this line. -235 for the Winnipeg Jets versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago at +190. 5.5 -130 to the over, +106 to the under 5.5. Looking at this one here, I'm a little bit cautious with the Winnipeg Jets. And while they are the better team, this team sitting 10-4 on the puck line on the road, it is a team that could come out and cover the puck line versus Chicago. They won and covered the puck line the last 6 versus the Blackhawks. So everything points to the Winnipeg Jets in this game. And I don't blame anyone who takes them here for a nice big win. I just don't know if I can do it in this one. Now, they won that last matchup December 2nd. It was 3-1, so they covered this puck line. They've been rolling a so hot defense and goaltending, absolutely leading the way. I think the safest bet here is to take the under 5.5. And I know it's a scary number to take to the under, but I do think it is your most secure bet. I'm then looking at Connor Bedard here of the Chicago Blackhawks, and you look at young player. I don't think he's had the distractions of Christmas, probably wasn't out having drinks and going to parties. Well, he probably still was, but you look at him, this kid is so hungry. I do think that anytime goal coming in at +185 screams value for Connor Bedard tonight. I like the first period money line here for the Chicago Blackhawks. We've seen this team come out so strong in those first periods of games. You look at them when they faced Edmonton, that first quick goal, and that team just really shutting down Connor McDavid in that game really stands out in my mind. But you look here, first period puck line for the Chicago Blackhawks at +158 is how I'm going to back them. Now, do I want them for the whole game? No, I don't, because Connor Hellebuck will be in net for the Winnipeg Jets, and I really like what we've seen out of the Winnipeg Jets. Like I said, hot goaltending, hot defenses, defense holding opponents to 28.8 shots on goal per game. Their kill's not phenomenal at 75%. The kill's not phenomenal here of the Chicago Blackhawks either at 74.3. Their power play stinks as well, 12.5. The power play is stronger of the Winnipeg Jets at 18.5%. So Winnipeg, stronger team. All the trends point in their direction, but I think Chicago gets off to that little bit of a hot start on their home ice. I would take this one under that total of 5.5. Like I said, I think it's a low scoring. Another one, just like that last game, 3-2 style game at worst, 3-1 style game. At worst, we go 3-2, 4-1. Still keeps us under that 5.5. So let me know what you guys are liking in this one. Yeah, Jets have been so phenomenally strong. You can't deny this team at all. Winnipeg in regulation. I like Morsley for the point better. I do not have any clue what is happening with my dogs out there. Dog bowls are flying. So they're walking both in. Okay. Yeah, Bedard. You got to look at Connor Bedard for the anytime goal. I think he comes out. I'm actually going to take him for that first goal for the Chicago Blackhawks as well. He is their difference maker. I think he comes out firing right away. Blackhawks team total under 2.5, but Jets win 5-3. Over 2.5, Kev. Yeah, I could see a 5. I think it stays under, but I could see a storyline where it played out that way. I do expect the Jets defense to really lock down and limit in this one, so I do like a lower scoring game. Let's look at the next game here. We have the Seattle Kraken taking on my Calgary Flames. Now the Kraken at plus 126 on the road, minus 152 for the Calgary Flames. Total 5.5, minus 130. If you think it's good luck, my mom's going to the game, then bet Calgary. If you think it's bad luck, then fade Calgary tonight. Mama Madden will be at the game, and she is super pumped. It's a 9:30 Eastern game. Jacob Markstrom is confirmed in goal for Calgary. He's got a 2.74 goals against average, a save percentage of .904. He was so phenomenally hot going into the break, and all of us in Calgary hoping he can keep that same momentum coming out of this break. Now, the Seattle Kraken are a team that are not known for really strong offense. This team averaging 2.69 goals per game and 29.9 shots on goal. Their best opportunity to get up in this game is if Jacob Markstrom comes out a little bit shaky to start. I just don't know if it's going to happen. You guys know he was a fade for me in that first period for so many games, but since coming back from this injury, he's been phenomenally strong. I don't want to fade him here, and I do think Calgary can get the win. The problem here is Calgary at minus 152, and they were minus 146 earlier in the day. I just don't want to lay that juice on them. I think if Calgary is to win this is in a lower scoring game. I think this game is a 3-2 game either way. So I am going to lie, or not going to lie bet. I'm going to bet the exact score 3-2 in this one. I'm just hoping Calgary doesn't hit Joey Decord really fast in this game, because I would be looking at that first period under 1.5 as well as the under 5.5 for the full game. So this is going to be a back and forth battle. The Kraken's team total under 2.5 is minus 104, but I could see it playing out 3-2 for the Kraken getting that win. So I like the exact score 3-2. I'll lean on the Flames to get the win, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Kraken are able to get it. I do like the under 1.5 first period and the under 5.5 for the full game. So fingers crossed, you guys. I just don't trust the Kraken's team offensively. This team has been struggling, and Calgary has been doing a better job, especially their kill coming in at 83.3%. So I'm not worried about them if they get in the box. I also look at Calgary, and their defense has been really limiting opponents' ability to get those shots. They've been locking down a lot better. And you look at the Calgary Flames in those first periods, they're just not getting those shots. So I do think the under 1.5 in the first period is a really solid way to go. Seattle to score first. This is something that I would love to take here, because it's something I've made us so much money with, Kelly, but I just don't know how Markstrom's going to come out in this first period. He was an instant fade for me until back from the surgery by allowing that first goal really quick, because it was almost like he was shaky to start, allowed that goal to come in, and then really did lock down, and Calgary was playing from behind. We just didn't see that since he was back going into that break. And I think with what the defense has been doing, I will be shocked if it happens in this one. But we know that was happening before. So I think you could do that as well. Calgary win. My mom's going to have a fun time. That is for sure. A parlay with Calgary as well. Yes, we could do a parlay with Calgary on that money line for sure. I like that as well. Flames will win it, not at minus 130. I completely agree with you. Yeah, you could throw Calgary on the puck line. Kraken for the upset. Kraken could very well. I really do think it's a lower scoring game either way, especially if you're looking at the Kraken for the upside, because we know Calgary's sitting right on that 3 goals per game. But I do think this is going to be a back and forth battle. Ottawa -1.5 with the empty netter. Ooh, that is great plus money on the Ottawa Senators if you're willing to take them, laying the 1.5. Seattle on the money line. I love all your comments, you guys. Thank you for being here. Flames in regulation, I absolutely don't hate that one. In regulation, I do think they could get it done. You're going to get value on them. Now, Calgary has won the last 4 matchups and 8 of the last 9 versus Seattle. So it's always been a hard fought battle out of the Seattle Kraken when playing Calgary. Battle of Pacific here, you guys. I do think Calgary can take it in a low-scoring game. The one thing about the Kraken, they've covered that puck line in their last 4 games as underdogs. There's no value here on them on that puck line, and that's why I'm kind of nervous on Calgary on that puck line, because I do think it's that tight. Okay, 2 games left on deck. These are both 10 o'clock Eastern games, and when we look at both of these games, we have huge favorites. I am backing the underdog in both of these cases. You look at the favorites today, and guess who they play tomorrow? Each other. I think this is a clear look ahead. And yes, I'm talking about the Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Anaheim Ducks in a look ahead versus the LA Kings, who are taking on the San Jose Sharks. Now, I know both of these teams want to come out, these favorites, and get the win. But I think one of these favorites loses outright tonight. I do think that the underdog has the opportunity in both cases to get the win. So let's look at the Vegas Golden Knights first. Current odds on this one for the Vegas Golden Knights, -235 here on the road, taking on the Anaheim Ducks at +190. We have a total of 6.5, -124 to the under, +102 to the over. This is the case where I don't like backing the Anaheim Ducks. This team absolutely terrifies me. We know the Ducks were quacking for quite a while. They went on that win streak, and then they come back down to what we all expected of the Ducks this season. This team sitting 12-21 on the season, 5-12 at home, and I'm willing to look at them here on the puck line versus the Vegas Golden Knights. I must be insane, but I do think Vegas in the look ahead situation, they lost their last 3 before the break, so this team's going to be so eager for the win. I think if any dog isn't to win between these two, it would be the Ducks. So I like the Ducks plus the 1.5 on the puck line. So when we're looking at the Ducks plus the 1.5, you're going to lay juice at -126, but I do expect this one to be a tight battle. Now, they've covered the puck line the last 4 matchups at home. So in Anaheim versus Vegas. So we've got a solid trend there. I like it, you guys. I think this is a lower scoring game. I'm going to take the under 6.5. Vegas probably wins this, but the Ducks cover that puck line. If you want to sprinkle on the Ducks on the money line, there is so much value coming in at +190. I like the puck line a lot better. This team 9-8 at home on that puck line, 19-14 on the puck line overall. I think we get the best out of them. Now, they did win the last matchup versus Vegas, and Vegas went into the break on a cold streak. So it is, for me, normally a place I would back Vegas, but I can't with the Kings on deck tomorrow back at home. So this is going to be a stressful game. It's either going to blow up in my face or it's going to fall right into place here. So fingers crossed, you guys. The next one, the San Jose Sharks. Current odds on the San Jose Sharks taking on the LA Kings. Plus 275 here for the Sharks. -350 for the Kings, total of 6.5. 6.5 -124 to the under, +102 to the over. Now, Cam Talbot expected here for the LA Kings. This Kings team, I cannot say enough good and positive things about him. But I do think here with Vegas on deck, huge battle of the Pacific tomorrow, that we're going to see the Kings again in a look-ahead situation. This Sharks team, we know they were able to beat some phenomenal teams. Now, the Kings did beat them in the last matchup. That was on December 19th, 4-1. They absolutely railroad them, locked down defensively, and didn't allow the Sharks to be able to fire away or find the back of the net. We could see the same thing play out, but I do think the Kings off the break. That win before the break, they got over Calgary 5-3 against a Sharks team that went into that break. They lost their last 5 games. This team is going to dig deep. And yes, it's the Sharks. All of their records absolutely stink, but I think this is a nice situation to back them. They failed to cover that puck line their last 4 games, but the Kings in that look-ahead situation, I think, is nice. So the Sharks plus 1.5. Again, current odds on FanDuel plus 1.5. You're getting plus money at plus 114. I will be sprinkling at plus 275 on the money line. I think the first period money line here for the San Jose Sharks is another way to look. I'm going to hold my breath. It's an ugly game, you guys. What else can I say? This is not going to be pretty if you're backing these 2 dogs in these late games, but I do think one of these dogs wins outright. So sprinkling on both. And I have a better feeling about the Sharks, even though they've lost their last 5 going into this break, than I do of the Anaheim Ducks, because the Ducks just aren't a team that I like to trust. So you guys, that is everything. Oh, reach in net tonight for LA and not Cam Talbot. I like it even more. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Las Vegas goes home tomorrow. It's really hard, right? You see these teams coming off the break, traveling, then going back home. And it's a hard situation, especially off a break, and then to turn around and play again. I think they're already looking ahead to playing the bigger battle especially within divisions. So it's going to be a really interesting one here. We'll see how these ones come out, but I appreciate all of you for being here each and every day. We will go live again tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern. A small slate tomorrow. We'll be able to talk about which one of these big favorites in the night game didn't win. I tell you, one of them isn't winning. You guys, let me know who you think it's going to be. If it's going to be Vegas falling tonight to the Ducks, or the Kings to the Sharks. So it's a coin flip. I really think it will be. I think it will be the Kings. So, and I love the Kings. Totals over. I don't know if I can get the over in this one with the Sharks and the Kings. The Kings defense is so phenomenally strong. I think if the Sharks came out first, hot to start, we're going to see a lot of lockdown on defense on both sides. And I'm just not touching the totals. I'm just looking at the dogs here in these ones. The puck line on the dogs, definitely the better side, or the better bet in these ones, but I'm going to sprinkle on the money line. You guys, all the best in all your bets. Don't forget to join me here tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern. Game Time Decisions is in full swing, so go on over and check it out. And if you don't have the SportsGrid app, make sure you go check it out. I will put links below this video. You guys, it's awesome. You can follow all your hosts over there. You can see all of my bets in the NFL, all the short videos on there and everything that's happening. The Lightning over 1.5 versus the Panthers. You know what? I think the Florida Panthers have the opportunity of getting the win. If you're looking at the first period over 1.5, I'm cautious of that as well. The Tampa Bay Lightning normally get off to really hot starts. The Florida Panthers, though, their defense has been so phenomenally strong. And I do think their defense will be able to control this game. So you guys, have a good one. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice tonight. Enjoy everything else going on. I know we've got a lot happening out there. All the best.